Om Namo Narayana, Revered Swatmaramanandaji Maharaj, Dr. Vasthare, Sister Agnes, Sister Christine, dear sisters and brothers. I extend a warm and loving welcome to you to this evening's program commemorating the 130th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's historic Chicago address on September 11th, 1893. A special welcome to Sister Agnes and Sister Christine from the Marian Hill Convent, who have joined us for tonight's program. I now respectfully request Revered Maharaj to commence with tonight's program with a rendition of bhajans.
Om Namo Narayanaya. Today is a special day. We know that on this day, September 11th, in 1893, Swami Vivekananda attended the World Parliament of Religions, and he gave a very special talk, and he became famous all over the world for propagating the harmony of religions. So we have assembled here to commemorate that and also bring in that value of harmony of all religions, or all religions are true, which leads to that one God. So I'm going to begin this program with a song on Swami Vivekananda, Murta Maheshwara. Murta Maheshwara Mujvala Bhaskara Mishta Mamara Naravandyam Murta Maheshwara Mujvala Bhaskara Mishta Mamara Naravandyam Vande Vedatanu Mochita Garhita Kama Kachana Bandam Vande Vedatanu Mochita Garhita Kama Kachana Bandam Murta Maheshwara Mujvala Bhaskara Mishta Mamara Naravandyam Koti Bhanukara Deepta Simha Maha Katitata Kaupina Vantam भमहो कटितटकौपिनवन्तम् अभिरभिहूङ्कारनादित धिम्मुख प्रचण्डताण्डव नृत्यम् अभिरभिहूङ्कारनादित धिम्मुख प्रचण्डताण्डव नृत्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नर वन्द्यम् मुक्ति कृपा कटाक्ष प्रेक्षण मघदल विदलन दक्षम् मुक्ति कृपा कटाक्ष प्रेक्षण मघदल विदलन दक्षम् बालचन्द्रधरमिन्दु वन्द्यमिह बालचन्द्रधरमिन्दु वन्द्यमिह नौमि गुरुविवेकानन्दम् बालचन्द्रधरमिन्दु वन्द्यमिह नौमि गुरुविवेकानन्दम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नर वन्द्यम् वन्दे वेदतनो मोक्षित गर्हित कामकाञ्चन बन्धम् वन्दे वेदतनो मोक्षित गर्हित कामकाञ्चन बन्धम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नर वन्द्यम् मूर्तमहेश्वर मोज्ज्वल भास्कर मेष्टममर नर वन्द्यम् इष्टममर नर वन्द्यम् इष्टममर नर वन्द्यम्
Thank you, Revered Maharaj, for that melodious rendition. Swami Vivekananda's speech in Chicago is a landmark moment in the history of interfaith dialogue. Swamiji spoke about the importance of tolerance, universal acceptance, and the unity of all religions. Captivating the minds and hearts of the audience, and he introduced them to the rich tapestry of Hindu thought and spirituality. His speech helped bridge cultural and religious divides and fostered a universal brotherhood between persons of all castes, creeds, and religions. And today, globally, Swamiji's vision that he had of a united brotherhood ushers in a new universality. A vision he had for this universality, and through Swamiji's perseverance, faith, and courage, today the Ramakrishna movement is a true testament of this oneness. Sisters and brothers, we have a special guest with us tonight, Dr. Usha Vasthare, who will speak to us on the topic, Vision into Action. Dr. Vasthare is a neuroscientist, teacher, writer, and social worker. She is the co-founder of the Yogakshema Rehabilitation and Wellness Center. She has facilitated over 1,000 support group meetings and conducted numerous workshops on mind training, mindful living, healthy living, overcoming negative thoughts, depression, stress management, and various other topics. Sisters and brothers, I now love it, Dr. Vasthare, to her talk on vision into action.
Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine avarishtaya ayate namaha. My loving pranams at the feet of the Holy Trio. My loving pranams to Revered Swatmaramanandaji Maharaj. My loving pranams to the sisters of Marian Hill Convent, devotees who are seekers of knowledge. Exactly 130 years back, the Parliament of World Religions was convened. And today, this is regarded as the origin of modern interfaith movement. That day, Swami Vivekananda gave the talk, which is now most popularly known as the Chicago Address. And I'm going to read out to you some excerpts of that talk, the famous Chicago Address. Yeah, please. I would like to just read out some excerpts from this Chicago Address. He goes on to say, I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I'm proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnant of the who came to Sadhya refuge with us in the very year in which their holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and is still fostering the remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation. I will quote to you, brethren, a few lines which I remember repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings. Quote, as the different streams having their sources in different paths, which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked all or straight, all lead to thee, unquote. The present convention, which is one of the most assemblies ever held, is itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of the wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita. Quote, whosoever comes to me through whatsoever form, I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant, fanaticism, have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it oft human blood, desolation, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. But their time is come. And I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persecutions, with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between persons wending their way to the same goal. The goal, what he talked about, is about religions, harmony of religions. That goal of bringing harmony of religions, I leave it to Swamiji here, Revered Swami Swatmaramanandaji Maharaj, and also of Marian Hills and many other religious institutions. However, I'm going to focus on the goal which is common for all of us, which is how to lead this life and how can we in whatever we are doing. Focus is going to be on take a neuroscience perspective on this. It's all about looking at the goal. What is our goal? And how do we reach this goal? And when do we start acting towards this goal? And as I mentioned, we will take a neuroscience perspective on that. How do we reach this goal? I'm going to try and use an acronym, NOW. And when do we start working towards this goal? It's right now. In the present moment, right here, right now. So the acronym of how to reach the goal and when to reach the goal is one and the same. No pun intended, but it's the same now. So let us look into how do we reach this goal? And then we will take the first letter N of the acronym NOW, which is neurosculpting. The goal is to be a neurosculptor. I'll take the analogy of a sculptor. What does a sculptor do? He does not take anything from outside and build a masterpiece. What he does is to remove what's in front of him, a big boulder. It could be regular stone or marble, whatever it may be. He removes whatever is not of the sculpture that he's trying to sculpt out to make it a masterpiece. This is what we call it as neurosculpting concept. What do we remove? Excuse me. Yeah, I have to. To what we were talking about, to be a neurosculptor. Just like a sculptor removes part of the stone that does not make up the sculpture itself, similarly, we need to remove from our mind whatever that is unwanted. It's going to pull us down so that it will help us to reach the goal. So what is it that prevents us to reach the goal? Neuroscience says there are many biases within us. Could be many of the cognitive biases or the negativity bias. These biases are what we have to chip out of, taking the analogy of a sculptor. Let's go a little bit deeper into this negativity bias and see why do we need to remove these biases to be able to reach our goal. This negativity bias, whether we know it or not, is present in each and every person without any exception. Be it somebody is a saint or a scientist, a doctor or a patient, a professor or a student, irrespective of who it is, this negativity bias is innate in each and every one of us. And because of this negativity bias, we are left with what we call as automatic negative thoughts. You can see the diagram represents the acronym of that, which is ants. Just like in nature, we see many, many different ants. Similarly, we have various different types of automatic negative thoughts, or simply ants. There are many different types. We are not going to go into detail of all of this, except to mention a couple of them, like blaming ants, automatic negative thoughts, or defending automatic negative thoughts, because these ants, blaming and defending, I always say these are the worst possible automatic negative thoughts, or the most poisonous automatic negative thoughts. In other words, very analogous to the termite population in the natural ants that you get, or the ants that we see in the nature. And these ants, automatic negative thoughts, when they go unnoticed and unchecked, they become thought patterns. And we see that there are many errors in our thought patterns. We are not even aware of these errors in our thought patterns and thinking patterns. However, what happens because of this negativity bias? The negative thoughts, be it negative thoughts, negative memories, negative feelings, negative perceptions, they stick to our brain and mind like Velcro. Whereas any thought could be positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive memories, positive perception, positive belief system, or even positive experiences, they get washed off like the Teflon material. We are all familiar with the Teflon material that we use on the non-stick pan in the kitchen. Just like the thing sticks on the pan, similar manner, these positive thoughts, positive feelings, positive experiences get washed off from our mind. This is highly scientific, which means it's common for everyone. As long as we are aware of this, then only will we be able to come out of this negativity bias or this accumulation of these automatic negative thoughts. We cannot get rid of these ants by taking white pills that come in colored bottle. There is no medicine for that except knowledge. Knowledge acts as medicine. Knowledge of being self-aware. We need to be aware of this negativity bias first, and that there are many automatic negative thoughts within me. Once we are aware of that, we need to be able to replace or get rid of these automatic negative thoughts. What happens with these automatic negative thoughts when they go unchecked and unnoticed in our mind? Our mind acts like a pendulum going back and forth between past and future. And the mind hardly remains in the present moment. Going further, when more ants go unnoticed and unchecked, we look at the past with regret, and we look at the future with anxiety and pessimism. And if at all the mind is in the present moment, it is unsatisfied. These automatic negative thoughts or ants never allow us to be in the present moment, here and now, now and here. This is the most important neuroscience concept that we need to get hold of. So for the next few sentences, you need to pardon my English grammar here. What is that? When we have too many of these ands, our mind is in the past, right? And looking at the past with regret and the future filled with pessimism. However, look at this. There is nothing like past and there is nothing like future. Past and future is nothing but our mental constructs. What I'm trying to say is, yes, there is past. We can remember yesterday happened. However, when yesterday was happening, it was today. Future hasn't happened. When tomorrow is going to happen, it will be tomorrow. Yes, you need to pardon my grammar, then only we'll be able to get this most important concept. In other words, past and future are only present in our mind. In other words, whatever we have to do, whatever we put it into action, action happens, doing happens only in the present moment. Extremely important concept for us to get this. If we can get hold of this concept and understand and put this into practice, anything and everything can be solved. This is true both in the scientific way and in the spiritual way. This, even many of the age-old scriptures have said this in their own ways. But now science is using different terminologies and we have evidence-based research to make us understand all of this, so that it will help us to put it into practice, even using very common and simple neuroscientific tools. So what do we need to do? All we need to do is to train ourselves to be in the present moment. So all it means, mind training is all about taking care of just one moment, and that is this moment here, the present moment. All we need to do is to take care of one moment at a time. No, it is so simple, but yet we know how difficult it is because we forget that we need to be in the present moment all the time. That does not mean we shouldn't be thinking about the past. Absolutely, learn from the past and plan for the future. But do things, act upon your goal, your vision, your desires in the present moment. So coming back to the concept of neurosculpting, all we need to do is to get rid of these ants, automatic negative thoughts, chip away all the ants. For a real sculptor, the stone is outside of him, and the tools like hammer and chisel is outside of him. However, for us to be neurosculptors, the stone is inside That's our brain and mind. And the tools are inside of us. That's our mind. The self-awareness, the discerning power, the free will that we need to use, and the focusing power to be able to chip off all the automatic negative thoughts. These tools are also within us. And when we chip away the ants, the sculpture, that means what we want, we become that, that is also within us. It's actually 3 in 1. The marble, the sculpture, and the sculptor, all the 3 are going to be us, and it's all within us. If I may, this is how we can create our own future. We can create our own destiny the way we want it to be. Many times we think the destiny, it can change. Whatever we are born with, we are going to take to the deathbed or beyond. However, science says, and not just science, many of our scriptures also say that we can create our own future the way we want it. And we will see at the end what Vivekananda has said 130 years back. And we now have scientific evidence for what I am saying. I'm going to close with his quote at the end. So going back to our goal, we took care of the acronym NOW, to O, the onus. This is one of my favorite concepts and phrases. I always say, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at will change. In this context, what do I mean by that? We think most of the things we do is because of our duty, right? Motherhood is a duty, parenthood is a duty, fatherhood is a duty, and we have to go out. What is our duty is what we think. However, if we can change that perspective from being the duty or the onus to a privilege. Parenthood is a privilege, not a duty. To serve others is not just a duty, but a privilege. And even to work shouldn't be a duty, but our privilege. And how do we work? That we can also make it a privilege than just a duty. So this conversion of own duty to privilege, or not even conversion, it is just the way we look at whatever we do. Rather than just looking at it as a duty, we look at it as a privilege, and magic happens, because then whatever we are looking at will change. Just change in our perception is all it takes. So what do I mean by this again? If we can just go tad deeper into this, I'd like to corroborate this with the help of a story. Most of us may be familiar with this story, but in context, it has a different meaning. Let us see what this is. This is the story of 3 stone cutters, which was made famous, by the way, by Peter Drucker, who's a management guru in US. And of course, he used this field, and that even here in the spiritual field. These are all higher truths, by the way. So this is about a story, stone cutters. There's a some construction work is going on. A stranger from the next village passes through this and sees the first stone cutter and asks a question. Oh, my dear friend, tell me what you are doing? And the first stone cutter says, what? Are you blind or something? Don't you see? I'm cutting stones. And the stranger goes to the second stone cutter and asks the same question. Can you tell me what you're doing? And the second stone cutter says, oh, I have a family to feed at home. I have my parents, my wife, and kids. This is the only job I know how to do, but I do a very good job of this. I'm doing this for that paycheck. Says, okay. He goes to the third stone cutter, and you know by now, asks the same question as to what are you doing? And the third stone cutter says, oh, there is a temple or a church or a mosque that is being built in this village. I am part of building that temple or the church. See, same question, 3 different answers. All the answers, there was no answer that was wrong. All answers were correct. However, each of those stone cutters was looking at the work he was doing from a different perspective altogether. Same job, even pay, but attitude that made a whole lot of difference. So if we change the way we look at things, the things we look at will change. Whatever we are doing, rather than thinking of it as a duty, can we feel to go out and work and feed the family? It's my privilege to take care of the kids. It's my privilege to come and serve at a place of worship like this. When we do that, truly magic happens within us. And it is so simple. We don't have to do any extra work. It's only change in the perception, change the way we are looking at whatever we are doing. As simple as that. Now, we're going to come to the third aspect of NOW, of the goal, how to reach that goal. W stands for work on it. Don't just wish for it, but work for it. That means from wishing to willing to make it happen. To make us understand a little bit more easily, I'm going to take 3 quotes of Swami Vivekananda and see how I can bring the neuroscience perspective based on these 3 quotes of Swami Vivekananda. The first and foremost, he says, take up one idea. Just one idea is enough, he says. Take up one idea, make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. And let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea. And just leave every other idea alone. And this is the way to success. It's a beautiful quote. I will just take one tiny aspect of this so that we can just focus on one aspect, which is just take up one idea. One single idea is enough. Hold on to that. In this, just take up one idea. The second quote. We are responsible for what we are and whatever we wish ourselves to be. We have the power to make ourselves. And if what we are now has been the result of our own past actions, it certainly follows that whatever we wish to be in future can be produced by our present actions. So we have to know let us just take, you need to act upon that single from the previous one. So you act upon. And the third quote says, arise, awake, stop not until the goal is reached. So simple, so powerful, and so profound, and so scientific. All we need to take from this is stop not until the goal is reached. So all these three quotes are highly inspirational. And we learned this as kids. And we would learn it by heart and then just say that out without completely getting the grasp of it, because it was so inspirational. However, now we know just inspiration is not going to be enough. We need to reflect on these quotes. And I say further, just reflecting is not enough. We implement the quotes. So from inspiration to implementation of these three quotes, that is the secret. And just how do we implement? We cannot just take quote by itself. Thoughts of these three quotes, just these three quotes of Vivekananda is going to be enough to see how we can make our vision into, put our vision into action. How do we connect the dots? From inspiration to implementation, just take up one idea. You need to act upon that idea, and you have to keep acting until the goal is reached. Stop not until the goal is reached. So our goal, how do we achieve our goal? By NOW. We will get to that again. But the next part of when do we start working on that goal? And as I said, it is right now, here and now, now and here, in the present moment, because we only have the present moments within us. And we saw that whatever we need to do, whatever we need to put it into action, we can only do that in the present moment. So, is there a perfect time? I say yes, yes, and yes. And as you already know, what is that? What is that perfect time? I think we all have to have this type of clock in our lives that shows the perfect time each time and every time, because that is the only time we have to be able to put anything into action. Now is the time. So all we have is now to be putting into action. And if you think about it, all we need is now. So this moment will put us in the best place for the next moment. So keep doing the right thing in this moment, each time, every time, as simple as that. So to conclude, if what we are now has been the result of our own past actions, it certainly follows that whatever we wish to be in the future can be produced by the present actions, says Swami Vivekananda. And what is the success principle to put our vision into action? Take up one idea. Just focus on your idea, that one idea. But just focusing on the idea at the level of thought is not going to be enough. You need to act upon that idea. Act upon. And do you do that? Right now. Yes, right now. So we talked about getting rid of the ants, right? So we say, okay, I'm going to be thinking positive. But positive thinking is not going to be enough. Positive feeling is also not going to be enough. Positive speaking is also not going to be enough. Positive thinking must be followed by actions. Positive feelings must be followed by actions. Positive speaking must be followed by actions. So positive thinking, feeling, speaking must be followed by actions. This is how we can put our vision into action. When we do that, this is based on the principles of neuroplasticity. I'm just going to say that and leave deeper into what neuroplasticity is. That's another time, another day. So again, positive thinking, feeling, and speaking be followed by. So to end with the personal note on Vivekananda. We have all heard about Rabindranath Tagore, who was a Nobel laureate. And he says about Vivekananda, says, if you want to know India, study Vivekananda. In him, everything in him is positive and nothing negative. I personally say on Vivekananda, if you want to understand the ultimate goodness of humanity, study Vivekananda. In him, everything is about pure love, harmony, and universalism. Thank you.
Om Namo Narayana, Revered Maharaj, Dr. Vasthare, Sister Agnes, Sister Christine, dear sisters and brothers. Thank you, Dr. Vasthare, for that very inspiring, reflective, and harmonious presentation. And thank you for bringing us to the present moment. We also thank Sister Agnes and Sister Christine for your warm and loving presence here tonight. Sisters and brothers, please take note of the following announcements. Satsang is held every Saturday at the center from 4 to 5:30 p.m. The following classes are conducted at the center: Hinduism for children's classes, Bhagavad Gita classes, karate classes, yoga classes. Please contact the office for further information. A Bhajan Sounds program with the Revered Maharaj will be held on Sunday, 17th September from 6 to 7 p.m. The program includes basic bhajan training. Devotees are welcome to attend from 5 p.m. for the Sri Ramakrishna Aarti and meditation. Sri Ganesh Chaturthi will be observed on Monday, 18th September with satsang from 6:30 to 8 p.m. A retreat for children and youth from age 8 to 25 years will be held on Sunday, 24th September. The program includes a discourse by Revered Maharaj and a shrine program, a yoga session, mindful breathing techniques by Dr. Vasthare, and a DVD presentation on the Ganges River. Kindly call or email the office to register. Dr. Vasthare is a visiting neuroscientist, author and founder of the Yogakshema Rehabilitation Center, and she will be doing many programs in Durban. Kindly note all the details of her programs on the notice board. Thank you for joining us today on this very special occasion of the 130th anniversary of the Chicago address of Swami Vivekananda. We wish you a blessed and safe journey home. Jai Shri Ram Krishna.